A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a Realtor can help answer. Because Realtors have the expertise, data, and access to specialty training to help you navigate the process of buying a home. They provide support, guidance, and have your back every step of the way. That's what Realtors do, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, the answer. You ask me, I'll tell you anything. And we are here. We are here for you. It's another episode of Ask Iliza Anything. I feel like I start every episode with, it's another episode, but you already know that. That's why you're here. We're coming to you hot and live from quarantine divisions. With me, as always, is my isolated baby arm, Emily Higgins.
Hi, not always anymore, but we're trying.
We're trying. And I believe we've both been quarantined for long enough that soon you can come back to work.
Theoretically.
Yeah. And in practice.
You know I don't want to get in trouble.
With who? You're so weird.
The government.
Oh my God. First of all, the government doesn't care about you.
I'm not even supposed to go to the store this week.
You're not. And I didn't say this week. I said
just
soon, eventually.
Yeah, okay.
You're so anti. That's you. You're so anti anything that makes my life easier.
I feel like we've been doing pretty well, all things considered.
You're not listening to me. I'm saying within the next 2 weeks, you can come back because we've both been quarantined for so long. There's no possible way that either of us have it. I think people think being around other people is what makes you sick, not unless those people are sick. And given that I haven't been around anyone, I'm not sick. I just sound congested all the time.
Oh, boy.
Well, today's a very special episode of Ask Iliza Anything because we've decided to do it dedicated to the Iliza Shlesinger Sketch Show. People are really big fans of it, gotten a lot of love, hoping to get that season 2. So if you are listening, please tell your friends to watch, put it on your computer, put it on mute, walk away, let it play through. Let's fuck with that algorithm. But enough of you are fans. Almost 1.5 million of you have seen it so far in its first week. So we decided to answer some questions. People want to know how things are made. And this is not that podcast, but we're going to answer some questions about the Iliza Shlesinger Sketch Show. Less questions today about your 20-year-old roommate being kind of a pain, but my mom's an addict. What do I do? So let's get to it.
I have gotten several texts from people I know that were like, I'm watching it. It's so good. And I'm like, I know.
Slip into your house shoes. I own that song now.
So you mentioned what they can do for a season 2. Carol Free Healy, along with about 10 other people, were like, when's the next one coming? What can we expect? Can we get longer episodes? Can we get more episodes?
I mean, that all depends on the enthusiasm. You know, you do 6 kind of as a tester. I would love to do more episodes. You don't want to you could do longer episodes, but I think 20 or 22 minutes is what helps it qualify for an Emmy. And then you don't want to have like one episode that's 60 minutes because then it looks like you didn't know what you were doing. I also think with comedy, brevity is key. I'd rather leave you wanting more than it being like, oh my God, that was so long and so boring. Nothing worse than a boring sketch. We really took the time to, one person who reviewed it, they were like, some sketches went on too long. And I'm like, yeah, you have to have a show. Not everything can be 15-second sketches. So we're always very mindful of editing. I hacked out a lot of air when we were editing this show.
Yeah, you were very, very involved in the editing of it.
Yeah, I got a scalpel, and any extra breath, any extra pause, a great sketch can die because of bad editing. You see it all the time. People that just have no sense of timing. And you're like, how did you get this job? Oh, that's right. It's your friend's show. Got it.
Right.
Anyway.
All right. Well, we got several questions I'm going to ask you about the Nectarine sketch. So first,
Hit me.
Click Kiss Boom says, can you please explain the story behind the concept of the executives and the Peaches skit?
Okay. First of all, they're nectarines.
Right.
And we bought up all the nectarines in the area. And so eventually some of them were peaches only because we ran out of nectarines, but they were like fuzzless peaches. What was the other question? This is just me setting the record straight.
Explain the story behind the concept.
Okay. It's actually an ancient story, but the story behind the concept is as follows. A couple years ago, I wrote a show called Forever 31 for a platform, I don't know if it still exists, called ABCD. It was ABC's digital platform. This is when everybody was like racing to compete with Netflix and have their own platform. So I wrote Forever 31, which was an awesome show. But like most things that are good, the platform like folded, they ran out of money, but I had written season 2 because it was a go before it folded. And in season 2 of Forever 31, when Iliza and her friends get their web show picked up by a network, they take a conference call with something called like Integrated Comedy Solutions or some horrible name. And I detailed how exhausting a conference call can be. Because the initial joke, when I brought this into the writer's room, I brought in the old sketch that I wrote, and it was just like, everybody is on their speakerphone. Everybody, it's always like, is John in? Oh, we're still waiting for him. And then they try to like, I'll even do it for you now. They try to like make small talk like, so Sally, you're in Santa Barbara? Oh, I love Santa Barbara. Oh, that was this weekend. There's a place I'll have to send you. It's a restaurant. And then you've listened, and then it's like, hello? Hey, Tyler. Tyler's on. Oh, I'm holding for Tyler. And you're just listening to people's bullshit. Everybody's playing a game on the other end. Nobody's actually paying attention. Nobody wants to be there. Even now with Zoom, everybody's got their phone on speaker. Everybody's doing something else. And you're like, can we all just pick up the phone? So it's a nightmare. So we started talking about that. I think there were nectarines in our writer's room. And I don't know how it evolved to that. But it was supposed to be about how people are just doing insane things on the opposite side of your conference call and you never know.
Right.
So it's really my frustration with bullshit conference calls.
Well, and more relevant now than ever as everyone does everything, not just on a conference call, but everything has to be video now. Like calls that were phone before are now video, and I'm not sure
I love
why.
it. I love it. I think it makes it more personal. I think it holds people accountable. I'll never be the person with the funny background, like LOL.
I tried to set one, but in my closet it didn't work. It works perfectly out in the light.
I could tell. You're in a closet. That's your background.
No, but I had set a fun one, but it didn't work in here.
That is the fun one. Woo, we're in a closet at work. Woo. So that was it. We shot the nectarine sketch, and we really had fun with it. And the objective was like, how much nectarine can you eat? How gross can you look? Some people are more comfortable with it than others.
That's what Shelby Nick 160 wants to know. How many nectarines did y'all have to eat?
So many, and each person had a bucket next to them where you could spit it. I mean, I ate the first 2 nectarines because I love nectarines, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So we had buckets. We also had art department clean off. We had nectarines for people to eat during the show that week, and then we're like, please leave your pit in this bucket so we can use it. So we didn't waste anything. The original end of the sketch was that the entire room gets filled with nectarine juice and we're all like floating in it. But budgetary approval did not allow. Yeah. So we just have those hoses at the end.
Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only, exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
Brian Thunder 106 says, "Hey, Eliza and friends, longtime listener, first-time caller. Question 1, just how much fun was that nectarine scene? And 2, was the scene improvised at all? Thank you. Your sketch show was the exact pick-me-up I was hoping for."
I already answered that. I said it was a lot of fun.
But was it improvised or pretty heavily scripted?
The lines were scripted, but the lines also didn't really matter. Like me being like, we'll execute that on the next round of calls. Like, what you're saying, while whoever wrote it, I don't know. We had David Sidoroff, Joanna Bradley, and Megan Nuringer, all awesome comedy writers.
Phenomenal.
For that, I feel like Joanna wrote that one, but I could be wrong. We wanted to make sure that it sounded authentic, which it did. Like, those are real things you would hear in a meeting, which I think is why it strikes a chord with so many people that have like real jobs.
Yeah.
But then, you're improvising a lot of the beats, like the throwing of the nectarines. I think that was improvised. Just, because you kind of get into it. You can't script like juices drip, 3 juices drip down yours. So we just went for it. They would just put the camera on us and then you just go for it. And a big part of it is you put the camera on someone and everyone else reads their lines and then you're just getting their reaction. So a lot of it definitely wasn't in there every single beat. So the lines were less improvised because we were so focused on being as funny as we could eating the nectarines. It's so funny. Of all the sketches, that's like the one that was improvised the least because the language was so boring.
Right.
I think, you know what? The actor who said, "What's new in Singapore, brother?" He might have made that up, and it was so funny.
Oh, and the way that he says it is very funny.
"What's new in Singapore, brother?"
Yeah. That one really caught with people, the nectarine one.
Josh Sharp is the actor that did that. I think that he made that up. He was so funny. Every scene he was in, he was funny. Fun fact about the show and the cast, and a fan alerted me to this. My IMDb page for the Iliza Shlesinger Sketch Show, somebody was like, why are you not first on your own show? I was like 15th listed, and I'm not in any episodes. So it's like I put the same people that run IMDb and the same people that do Wikipedia, just like random, no one's really paying attention, just weirdos.
But I can change Wikipedia and I cannot change IMDb. I only have so much control.
Yeah. So there's
okay.
that. It's just kind of funny. It's just such a sign from the showbiz universe. Like even on your own show on IMDb, I'm listed at like last and not even as a producer. You're like, okay, I'm pretty sure my name's in the title, but okay.
That was like it's been edited.
We had somebody do a press request. They sent it to Greg, like asking me to be on their show or something, and they spelled my name like Eliza Scherzinger. And Greg wrote back, you mean Iliza Shlesinger? And they wrote, sorry. When I Googled it, that was what it suggested. I'm like, in all of Google, that's what you got every time, and you don't take into account any other spelling. If you're going to ask a celebrity to do anything, spell their name right.
Yeah.
I understand like a mistake in an email, but like if you're asking for someone's time and you're like, we'd like to ask Iliza Scherzinger because we are big fans. You're like, okay, are you an alien?
You see that sometimes with autograph requests, not for you so much, but I've heard about it with other people where they'll be like, I am biggest fan of this person. I loved them in random YouTube video no one saw. And you're like, yes. What?
I love her in Excused and season 6, Last Comic Standing. You're like, okay.
Right.
You're a fan. All right. Kick it.
Matt 54 Johnson wants to know, will there be anywhere we can watch an outtake reel or bloopers? I imagine those would be hilarious.
I love that. That's a Netflix question, and they are secretive and I don't know. As of now, no. And I think we left all that on the cutting room floor, but I would love that as well. You know, those are usually reserved for like director's cuts and DVDs. I could look into it. That's a great idea. Emily, let's make a note. Let's make a note for some blooper fat. But I think it's, you know, when sketch is so funny already. So like, what are you going to see in that nectarine blooper? Like me choking on a nectarine like I already am. Yeah, I don't know. We got to look into that. That's a great idea. I remember when I was a kid, my parents were still married. I guess he left it when they got a divorce. Anyways, it was a VHS of a baseball blooper video called Funny Side Up. And it was just like baseball bloopers. And that was my first exposure to sports comedy. Funny Side Up. Oh, he's in the outfield. Whoa, he smashed into the gate. No, he can't walk now. Kick it. Come on, Emily.
Let's get into these cashew albacore questions.
Let's open up a can of cashew albacore.
Dancer Dude 19 asks, where did the inspiration for cashew albacore come from?
I don't know. We were in the writer's room, and I used to travel for what was my job. I was a stand-up comedian for many years. Now I'm just at home. I'm just at home taking care of our 3 chinchillas. And I have this pet peeve about you get on an airline. I don't understand why in the interim between them being like, stand by, check cabin, stand by. I can't even remember what they used to say. Like we're set for takeoff, whatever. In between that and taking off, or right after they've reached their cruising altitude, why they don't make their announcements. Sometimes it feels like they wait like 30 minutes. And especially if you're on like a 6 a.m. flight and you're falling asleep, they're like, well, we just want to welcome you, or like, we welcome you to American Airlines. And it's always loud. It's always long. If you're on Air Canada, it's in French and English. So it's double the length. And it just feels like they wait for you to start to fall asleep. And then they do this big, long, and we've got the Delta One reward card. If you'd like, someone will be coming by if you want to. It's like, we don't. And you have us trapped, and we've already paid so much. I understand safety announcements, but like, please, I want to go to sleep. Other pet peeve is when flight attendants talk really loud in the galley, and it's like an early flight, and you're like, everybody's sleeping. You're like, and then I was going to CVS, and you can't ask them like, hey, can you turn your yap down, you banshee. Anyway, so it was about the idea that as you're falling asleep, they always talk. They always make their announcements for a very long time. So it was really more about that. And then it was like, what if there was a maniac who had their own airline just so they could wake people up? That's where it started. And I went home and I was sitting on my couch. I was watching TV and I had my laptop. And I was just like, what would a maniac who owns an airline sound like? And it just popped into my head. I was like, his name is Cashew Albacore. Are you ready? Because it's time to flew. And it just flowed out of me. That's it. There's nothing. It's not taken from anything. Yes, the outfit that I thought he should wear. I was like, where am I getting this inspiration? And I realized he looks a little bit like the sea captain from The Simpsons, but whatever. And I wanted him to wear women's shoes. He wears like little red women's boots. There's one shot where he has a catheter, like colostomy bag dragging behind him. I don't know if anybody ever notices that. And I just wanted him to be gross. And he just became this weirdo that locks people in rooms. But that's where it came from. Just the idea of like, what if a total psychopath owned an airline just so he could wake people up?
I remember when you were filming that and seeing the pictures of you in that getup, and honestly, you really, it was a perfect look for you.
It's a perfect look. It's one of those outfits that when you put it on, you inhabit the character. Also, it takes 3 hours to do that makeup, so like you better squeeze him for every moment that he's worth because it took so long. And the name Cashew Albacore, I think I have a proclivity for putting together funny word combinations, whether it's to my dog or in my stand-up. And to me, Cashew Albacore, da-da-da-da, like those syllables just flow. Cashew Albacore, that's his name. Can't say it's not original. And my showrunner, Kim Gamble, would always say cashew, and I thought that was pretty great. Cashew Albacore, I'm the man behind the mask. Anyway, that's it.
Amy 930 and Lawrence Lesteleger also both asked about Cashew, but I think it's funny that Lawrence said, I was a little freaked out, also a tiny bit high. Did you have anyone on the street scared of your Cashew Albacore character?
I have these videos in my phone, and one of them got erased, and that's the best one. So when they would walk me back from set to the trailers, I just had on, because it was so hot in that outfit, I just had on the turtleneck, full hair and makeup, no hat. So I'm just this like creepy old man. And I have videos of me walking down the street, and I had this little toy with me, and every little kid, I'd be like, Merry Christmas, because you look like a chewed up Santa Claus. And it is in Brooklyn, and it's like all these little kids with their parents, and the parents are all immigrants who are probably wary of white people anyway, let alone like a creepy old guy that's like waving at your kid, like, Merry Christmas, give me $1, tell me your social security number, I'll give you $1. Where's Christmas? And it's funny because some parents just I'd be like, come on, give me your hand. And some parents were just like, yeah, go ahead. Like, it was interesting to see which parents were like, yeah, this is New York. We're not afraid of anything. And people laugh. You know, I think you could tell it was a bit also because I was walking with a kid who had like a PA wire on him. But little kids don't know to be afraid. And parents are just like, what is this? What is this weird old white guy? Give me your Christmas. I'll give you $1. Squeaky, squeaky. Gang-a-lang-a-lang.
Carlucci's says Cashew Albacore was comedic genius. Of all his appearances, which one was the most fun to act out? Do you have a favorite?
Of all of his?
Yeah, everything Cashew Albacore did, because you had you locked someone in a room. You
I remember.
You were on the plane. Okay.
Well, it's so uncomfortable. Like, it's so fun. It's kind of like, I would imagine if you were an adult and you went to one of those gyms that's all trampolines. Like, it's so fun, but you're so exhausted the whole time. Like dancing. You're like, I'm having so much fun, but I'm so tired. Your face is uncomfortable. You can't open you can't really move your face around. You have a latex bald cap on, so there's no heat escaping from your head. So you're just baking. I don't know why. And they're like, you wrote him this way. He has so many layers. Like, he has a turtleneck and a leather vest and a sweater and a pea coat. We had to get rid of the pea coat eventually. And then a fat suit under all of it. There's 2 fat suits. And it's on your legs. So it's always fun. I think, I like the one where I like the locks one. Because he's moving around the most. Like, on the plane, he can only really be in the aisle. I like the one where he says he makes locks and he locks people in rooms. I think that's where he really started to shine. Because I really got to improvise with banging my head against the door and all the timing of that. And the way that he moved. the screaming for me, that's my like ex machina moment. Like that was me getting to be at my weirdest and grossest, which is all I've ever wanted.
Right.
So I'd say that one. And then he got to hold that. Oh, the raccoon was from the CEO one. So I think that one. I make locks. Dingle dangle.
Old_Taylor asks, did Smokey Husky have fun filming with you? Loved the show and loved picking out all the little Easter eggs you left in it for all the super fans. Especially love the Barnstorm reference from your podcast with your dad and the Tiny Dog songs.
For those of you that don't know, and I think I had my dad on the podcast when I talked about this. When I was little,
yes,
there was a thing called Blockbuster. And my dad and my brother and I, you go, as with every suburban family, you go pick out a movie on a Friday. And my dad would always say to my brother, we're going to rent Barnstorm. It's a made-up movie series. It doesn't exist. And my brother every time would fall for it. He'd be like, I don't want to watch Barnstorm. And it became a joke in our family. Like, we're getting Barnstorm 4, The Reckoning. Barnstorm 6, The Return of the Resilience. Like, just these fake titles. And Ben would always, as a little kid think, no, I don't want to get Barnstorm. So it became a thing in our family. And so when I came time to naming one of the political opponents in this, I gave him the name Frank Barnstorm. It's just a nod to the comedy of my youth and my father. What was the question?
Did Smokey Husky
the
have
Easter
fun
eggs.
filming with you?
I think he had fun. He's downstairs. I could ask him, but I'll answer for him in true wifely fashion. We had fun. I mean, he loves New York and Brooklyn. He spent his days going around eating pizza, doing cookbook stuff, and chef stuff. So I think he had fun being on set. I maintain a very casual set, and so it's long days, but they're fun. Everybody was in a good mood. He did two very sweet things. He came with me to New York to help me move into my apartment and get me all set up. I'd never lived in New York before, and he had. Not that it requires a medical license, but get you set up, get your groceries. And then he came after because we were going to take a little drive through upstate New York and Vermont because I had a gig in upstate New York. So that was our little week break. So he came to see me off and take me home. And I think he had a nice time. He doesn't seek fame and attention in the way that comedians do. But, you get a little paycheck, you get to be in the show, people get to see your pretty blue eyes. Double Easter egg. I call him Bo in the show when he gets his high five. Bo is the name of Noah's mother's dog. A tiny white dog named Bo, who, fun fact, was Blanche's boyfriend and loved her very much, even though he was much smaller than her, and he was with her when she died. Nancy came home, and Bo was just sitting there with his tiny little butthole. He's so tiny. Anyway, he's got a tiny butthole. So I call him Bo as a nod to my mother-in-law.
All right. Well, related to the other part of the question.
What's my answer going to be? No, my husband hated it. He doesn't support me or comedy or New York. He was miserable.
Well, it was weird probably for him to have the husband and wife sketch has a fake him.
Can I tell you something? So his name is Matt Delapina, who was so lovely, so fun to have on set. We cast someone who had a similar look. Noah's got kind of deep set eyes. They're both kind of darker, Italian looking. Mm-hmm. Noah, having nothing to do with Matt, doesn't like the sketch. He doesn't like seeing another man's face superimposed on his body. At the top of Husband and Wife, we used all real pictures from our life, from our engagement and just being together and our life. And Noah kind of bristles at it. Super supportive when I had sex with Mark Wahlberg in a movie. Super supportive when I had to kiss someone in the other movie I just did. Doesn't say anything. But that's the only time I've seen him kind of puff up and be like, I don't like it. And I think it's very cute. Very cute.
She Sees a Million Stars asks, what was your favorite Easter egg you put in for the fans? This person also noticed the Barnstorm and enjoyed it.
You know what? I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one that nobody's noticed. Cashew Albacore's captain hat, as well as I think the captain hat on that stuffed raccoon, has what looks like a raccoon, but the art department made it's actually Blanche in a little crest. I actually have it here. I'll show it to you on Zoom. It's this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Take a picture of that and send it to me, and we'll put it up with the episode. So everybody listening to this isn't devastated.
There's Frank Barnstorm. Yeah, I think the most, aside from Bo, which no one would know because no one knows Noah's mom's dog's name, but now they do.
Right. Yeah.
It's the crest of Blanche's face on Cashew Albacore's hat. Blanche had been gone for a couple months, and I still rep super hard for her and her tiny little body. So it's probably that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
aside from like sticking, like Shallon is a good friend of mine that she has a YouTube show where she talks about celebrities and breaks down the psychology of celebrities. She's in the It's Nell sketch about the girl who never been to the restaurant.
She was on this podcast.
She was on this podcast, but that's not an Easter egg as much as a whole human.
No, because you had a lot of friends. Your friend Kate.
Friend Kate Hendricks is in it. Yeah, like look, we didn't have this massive budget. We didn't have celebrities like dying to be on the show. So I put my friends in. And by the way, Hunter was already in New York. He flew himself there. My mom flew herself there. My aunt lives in New York. Jody flew herself there. You know, your real people really made an effort to be in this, and it was really nice. It was really nice to be able to count on those people. Kick it.
I didn't find myself there. I'm sorry.
You're like a house cat. It's like having a house cat isn't necessarily, I better stay in the closet. Sit here and record my pod. I'm saying that because she's in a physical closet right now.
I am. I'm in
All
the
right.
closet. Lau_wed. How much of the husband-wife sketches are based on your actual relationship? These are hilarious and seem like a more realistic representation of marriage/long-term relationship than the girls who pretend that they don't.
You know, I think there are girls that are super girly, and we all have our limits. Like, I always make Noah turn around if I'm shaving my armpits in the shower. You know, like, I would never take a dump in front of him. That's so gross. Everybody's got their different comfort levels, and whatever works for you is fine. I think this sketch was based on the basketball shorts thing, because I have a joke about, like, him being like, please don't wear basketball shorts to bed. I'm not saying please, but, like, it's not being turned on by it. I don't know. And we just started talking about all those shows, like Sister Wives, and then somebody said Husband Wives. So a little bit, like the essence of it, but going out of your way to be a gross out. I find myself sometimes burping in front of him. And he's like, if I ever burped in front of you, I'm like, oh, we would be divorced. But I'm starting from a daintier, lovelier place. So it's okay. Whereas he's already a dude, so he's already at maximum grossness.
But he's not a gross man. He's like a very conscientious.
He's not a gross man, but he needed my help. Like when I met him, he was like kind of a stinky hippie, you know, and I was like, what are you using for deodorant? Just like rubbing rocks on your armpits? Just boys are a little like, you're either super into it or you're less in tune with it. He wasn't gross by any means, but I was like, you know, maybe you don't be a stinky hippie man when you come into bed. Fruit punch. That one was not mine. That one is courtesy of Laura Murphy, our director, who is from Rhinebeck, New York, so upstate. And she was like, we used to say you want fruit punch, and then you take an old piece of fruit and you punch it. And so it looks easy. It was actually very difficult to line up. And we had to score all the fruit so that it would explode when we punched it. That sequence is actually a lot longer. We had to edit it down because I just sat there pelting him with fruit.
Right.
And fun fact, when we initially shot it, and there's that shot where I pull his pants down, I'm like, put your butt away. I accidentally grabbed his underwear. I just grabbed, because you run up, and I grabbed his underwear, and I pulled, because he was wearing like pajama pants, and I pulled it down, and I didn't see anything because I also run out of frame. We weren't rolling the cameras at the time, but like everything was out, and he was such a pro about it.
Aww.
He's like, it's cool. And I felt so bad because it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. Like, that's still your naked body. You're still at work.
Yeah.
But there was definitely one take where, like, full-on button peen out flapping in the breeze. So, yeah, one of the takes, we have me doing it, and then I fall out of frame, and I just go, ow, ow. And he's like, oh, let me help you up, which happens. Like, me being an idiot to Noah, and then I hurt myself, and he's like, all right, what happened to you? You're like, help me.
People are experiencing that more and more watching your Don't Panic Pantry.
Mm-hmm. I think I fell the other day. Anyway, we're all just trying to get through this quarantine. I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky, stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi whole body deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right ladies, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet.
It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code ELIZA for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code ELIZA at LumiDeodorant.com.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Chelsea Ray Emma asks, what inspired Kip Wazzle? The accent is spot on, not to mention the way you flubbed up your audition lines in colloquiums. For reference, I have several Aussie coworkers, and you sound just like them.
It's always that thing
wait,
where...
hold on.
What?
Hashtag birthers. P.S.
Birthers.
Did you use a coach for the accent or just watch a lot of Steve Irwin videos?
Very funny. Super out of date reference, but very funny. I picked like the one guy who's dead versus any other Australian. Oh my God, she said Steve Irwin was dead. How could she? Fun fact, I did not write Kip Wazzle. One of the writers brought that in, like a fully formed idea. And I was like, I can do an Australian accent. So I don't know where they came up with it, but we loved it immediately. And I didn't have an accent.
Was that one Joanna?
It might have been Joanna Bradley. I didn't have an accent coach because I have an idea of how to do it. We do have a line in there that we cut out where the producer goes, "Are you South African or Australian?" And she just goes, "Yes." Because the accent, depending on who you ask, there's always the people that are like accent snobs that are like, not really. And you're like, it's pretty good. I take pride in doing a decent accent. And having like a mindful difference of that versus like New Zealand. Some people think it sounds like New Zealand. Those two, it's a squeakier Australian, whatever. I called my friend Waz, who's Australian, and I read it to him just to make sure it sounded okay. And he gave me the okay. He's like, it's good enough. Like, I'm not trying to assimilate. I'm not trying to like blend in. Birthers was an improvised line. I had a cold that day. So I was just like trying to get through it, but she was a lot of fun to do. And it's this, having this really earnest character. It reminded me of The Office, but just having this really earnest character who's really trying to do her best. Like the more honest and earnest and innocent the character is, I think the easier it is to improvise. We had a whole props improvisation because there's a one like she's like, I've got a hat, Michael Jackson. And then like she had a fan. She's like, I'm in the Old West, tuberculosis. Or she has a gun and she's like, forget about it. Just like all these, so just different props. And we were like, it goes on for too long. And then I fall on that table. We had to bring in a real stunt coordinator, not only for the breakaway stubby, but for falling on that table. Like you have to brace yourself. You have to stand in a certain way. And I was actually wearing a back brace. You don't see it, like to support my back because even though it was only a few inches, like it really was uncomfortable. I don't know how some people do. I only fell a foot off the ground and it knocked the wind out of me. And I didn't want to do it again. So that is a real reaction where I'm just like, because for a second you're like, did I hurt anything? It was, and also being sick and doing that was brutal. But Bertha's around the pelvic floor.
Kip Wazzle is tied for my favorite sketch. Me personally, Emily, not the question askers.
I really enjoyed being her. That hair changes everything. Well, that sounds more South African. Everything. Everything.
Sabrina Villa Escusa says, hey, Eliza,
It's
I love
pronounced
the Australian.
Via Escuse. I don't know.
There you go. I love the Australian actor bit. I was wondering if you've done some martial arts before because you had great form on those kicks. I'm looking forward to seeing you perform in Phoenix.
Thank you. It's probably never going to happen.
Don't say that.
No, I will. We've already rescheduled. I really did. I look back at that and I'm like, I look like a kickboxer. No, I've never done any martial arts, but I do enjoy fake fighting and I'm decently athletic for a comedian. Pretty good sense of what my body can do, work out. So, yeah, I think it's just from over the years watching action movies and not wanting to look bad. I was pretty proud of that. I'll be honest. I don't know where that came from that day, but I did it. Maybe it's wearing like the tank top and the boots and the cargo pants, the hallmark of any true self-trained martial artist. You noticed. Thank you for noticing. And now I sound like I'm from Liverpool.
You sound like Ringo Starr. Yeah.
Thanks for noticing, love.
Lore Star asks, which sketch did you do that you kept breaking out of character because you were laughing so hard?
Oh, God.
Were there any, or are you just a pro?
I laughed really hard in the nectarine one because what you're doing is so weird. It's not lines you're delivering. You're just like eating nectarines and trying not to choke. I'm trying to think of laughing at all. So there's so many tiny ones. And then there's so many little I don't know about laughing. Also, by the time you do this, you've read these sketches so many times. So it's not about laughing. You're just like, is this funny? Is anyone going to laugh? I liked doing Cashew Albacore. I enjoyed doing, this is the breakout hit of the whole series, was Make It Nice.
Yeah.
I enjoyed tying a ribbon around a potato and just breathing. I enjoyed that one.
You have emojis on your phone for a potato and a ribbon.
Oh, oh, yes, I do. You know which one I enjoyed? I laughed at the hardest. So in All the Tiny Dogs, we call him Grizzled Music Man. That's like, the world's got to hear this nonsense. His name's Will Chase. He's a great actor, and he was so sincere in the part. He and I could not stop laughing when he brings me in to his golden retriever. He's like, "This is Buddy," and I'm like, "Oh, hi." And I'm making up a gibberish song, and here's this like perfectly trained golden retriever, and I'm like, "You've got a thick paw." These are things I would sing to my dog in front of all these cameramen and lighting people and the trainer and him, and I'm ever take it seriously. But every time he had to say, "You write that?" we would die laughing when he's like, "The world needs to hear this nonsense that you sing," because he's saying it with such a straight face and just asking, "Did you write that?" to like, "You've got a thick paw." And you know it's true. I definitely spit into his face laughing at him so many times because we're so close to each other. I felt very bad. It was really hard to be in a scene. It's one thing to sing gibberish about your dog, but to sing it with somebody who has to take it very seriously.
Yeah.
I laughed at that a lot. So that's probably the scene that I remember breaking out laughing the most in. Now shake that thick body. Shake that thick body. It was a thick golden retriever.
It was. The opposite of that emotion, Libra_like_Izzy asks, was it emotional for you to sing Blanche songs to a dog that wasn't Blanche for the sketch?
You know, it was a little sad. That Pomeranian, Ginger the Pomeranian, was so cute. Of course, it wasn't Blanche. Also, that dog takes commands in Portuguese, so we did not understand each other. But the owner did feed her a lot of cheese. I opted to actually cry. There is a moment, it's barely in the sketch, where I'm at the grave after Ginger dies.
Yeah.
Or after Pan Pan dies. Pan Pan was the name that I wanted to give Blanche before I met her. I was like, I want to have a dog and name it Pan Pan. But then I met Blanche. I was like, you're not Pan Pan. I am actually crying. It's a very quick shot. I'm actually crying.
Is that when you have the mascara?
The mascara running. I thought, because you don't know what that moment is going to be until you get in the edit bay, and you don't know if it's going to be longer in the trailer. It's already a long trailer. So I opted, I'm not a method actor, but I was like, in case this has to look like tears, I'd rather it do that. So I did cry just to kind of get into it. I missed her so much. But if you can read the gravestone, it says, like, here lies Pan Pan. I think it says, like, a face and a head and the body and the legs. And I think it's so funny because that's like a face and the head and the body and the legs. Like, what else is a dog made of? I'm actually crying in that, and I'm actually crying in the other part of the trailer where I'm trashing the room and I throw something at I thought that was going to be a longer moment as well. We did this beautiful shot above me. I'm laying on the couch and I'm crying, and it's just the tears are running down and the camera's right above. And we ended up not using it, but I was actually crying. And I'm also actually crying at the end in the sketch about like most grounded talent, where I'm holding my face back and I'm like,
oh no.
And I'm like, I just try so hard and I don't understand. Beautiful. Kate is in the background trying her best. She was laughing. I was like, dude, get it together. She's like biting her cheeks, trying not to laugh, but I was actually crying because I wanted it to look real. You know, what are we
your
doing?
friend Kate played your manager.
Yeah, she was trying to keep it together. But yeah, I made myself cry for that one too. So, you know, some real acting here. Oh man.
There you go. Casey Mort asks, how, if at all, was your writing process different for the sketch show versus stand-up?
Well, stand-up's more like a stream of consciousness, and I don't actually write. I write, quote unquote, on stage. So I come up with a concept and I talk it out. With this is different. Also, you know, it's an act of collaboration. You read your sketches that you write alone to the writer's room, and then you kind of talk about where you can make it better. Sometimes you'll give your sketch to someone, they'll punch it up, whatever. So, but of course I'm the executive producer. So if I don't want to do something, but you know, you also surround yourself with these people that are more experienced than you and have different takes because you trust their opinion. So sometimes you take them, sometimes you don't. You have to be the decider for that. So it's much more collaborative. Stand up, it's just, nobody ever gives me anything, tags or anything for that. And if they did, I probably wouldn't trust them because it's your voice. You have to be precious about it. But yeah, there's that. A little bit more collaborative. Sometimes I'll take someone else's sketch. I'll be like, can I just have the other half of this? I'll go write it. So one is isolated, one's collaborative. It's the opposite of collaborative.
You had a great team too.
I did.
Because you had Kim Gamble as your showrunner, who was the showrunner on your Freeform talk show. You had Laura Murphy as your director. You had Megan and Joanna and David. And then you had Molly Berg as your writer's assistant. And Kara as your producer.
I mean, these are all people who understand comedy. I mean, yourself included. But I didn't want, first of all, we're only doing 6 episodes. And we did write a lot of sketches. We could have just done 3 sketches an episode. We wrote a lot of sketches because I wanted it to be like you were watching a channel. And so you know, you're clicking around and stuff like that. I wanted the best parts of the sketch. I didn't want to have to write the end to something if it didn't need one. And having a giant writer's room, you know, for a sitcom, I understand that. But the key is not to just get as many writers as possible. I also am a writer and understand my voice and comedy, I think, pretty well. So it's getting people that can support you. And fun fact about the way that we chose our writer's room, you know, I want the best writers. I don't care what they look like. I don't care what gender. I don't care. So to help, I guess, when people submitted writing packets, because that's what you do. You want to be on a show. If you have representation, you either write samples or you send in things that you've written or you write things for that person. It's called a spec script, but in this case, it would just be like a spec sketch. And some people were lazy. They're like, here's a pilot I wrote. I'm like, I'm not reading your fucking pilot. Like, these are sketches. It's a different thing. We had about 28 packets submitted. Molly, I had her take the names off of the packets. That way, and we had all different kinds of people submit because, you know, different people we pull from a lot of agents and managers. That way, when I read the sketch, I had no idea. I was not informed. The color of the person writing it, the gender. You can sometimes take a stab at the religion.
Affiliation.
I had nothing. I only had what was on the page. Of course, I ended up with 3 Jews at the end. No, but that's a joke, but it's true. I mean, they were Jewish, but that's irrelevant. I think Joanna's like half Jewish. But I did it based on that. And I ended up with 2 girls and a guy. One of them's gay. We don't have to go into it. But it really was merit-based. I went off of, you know, how funny is your sketch? I also, you know, when you look at something, I remember when we were doing Truth and Iliza, people submitted packets that had typos. And I'm like, if you don't have the wherewithal to send me something polished and respect my time, I'm not going to read your thing. And if you just send me something, you know, some people submitted things that they had written and they were like half-assed. You can tell, but I read everything. And that's what we ended up with. I did it in the most egalitarian way. They were picked based on their merit.
Well, as someone who lurked around outside the writer's room. You guys not only worked so well together and got so much done and wrote so much, but you had what seemed like a great time every day together.
I think that's also the key. And anybody that's ever been on a show, I mean, nobody loves going into an office, but like, I believe it starts from the top down. Any set, if it's your show, you're responsible for the tone. So saying to your writers, like, you can't check your phones and everyone's got to be here at 9, it was super casual. If you wanted to go home and write your sketch after you came in, you could do that. I'm really outcome oriented when it comes to comedy. I don't care how we get there. And I liked hanging out with them. I liked joking around with them. And the second we were done joking, we'd all go off and write our sketches. And I didn't have to be there. That's the other thing. When you're given a show, I could be like, write me a show. I'll see you guys there. But I wanted to put my stamp on it. Every sketch went through me, everything. It was super collaborative. And I took pride in it. And hopefully it matters when we get a season 2. But we had a lot of fun. They were great. And all the while, everybody was, by the way, everyone was like leaving to go pitch other shows. I mean, that's the way it is when you're doing 8 other shows. But I hope they had fun because I had fun with them.
I think so. Several of them also were like Kate moved to Los Angeles for this.
One of them did.
Did only one of them?
Yeah, I think Joanne has a house there and David did. So it was awesome. Yeah, we hired them and David was there that week. Yeah. Met them. Some people you meet. We also took a bunch of writers' meetings, and you got to make sure you'd have to be a total fucking sociopath to bomb an intro, like a writer's meeting. Like for me to hate you that much. Everybody we met was super nice. And then it just came down to who's got the best sketches, who seems like they'll be the best fit.
Yeah, I mean, I think those people all fit with the kind of absurdist sketch that you like to do.
They were great.
Samantha_Marie_95 wants to know, what did you learn from making a sketch show? Is there anything in particular?
Ooh, what did I learn?
I mean, it is so different from what you do normally.
It is. And I don't know if I learned it as much as it was just clear and present and reinforced how much work goes into these. And of course, you offer it up to the comedy gods and people can be like, it sucks, don't like it, LOL, watched it while I was high. And it's not for them to talk about how much work goes into, for you as the consumer to care. But this idea, and this hit me over and over, like you come up with this goofy idea and there is a costume department, there's props, hair, makeup, having meeting after meeting about how do we execute this weird idea. Cashew albacore, makeup had to go get prosthetics. Wardrobe had to pick several types of sweater for me to pick from. Every character, no matter how small, you have to do a fitting for it. You have to pick a wig. You have to pick hair. You have to pick makeup. You have to decide, what does this look like? And sometimes you're like, oh, I only thought about the fact that they had, giant purple lips. And it's like, well, we need the rest of it. What's everyone else going to wear? Like there's thought that goes into it. And if you don't put thought into it, it looks unfinished. The Beelzebubly sketch, which I fought so hard for, and not one person has written me about it, which is fine. It's a sketch I've been wanting to do for a while. We had multiple capes that demon was going to wear. And that day, and it's weird too, because you see something so clearly in your head, and then you get to set and they don't have anything like that. And in your head, you're like, I thought it was obvious she'd have long stringy hair. And they're like, nope, we didn't get you a wig for that. If you don't specify it in the script, nobody knows that the potato ribbon's supposed to be green because you thought of that. Everybody, and art department has their own interpretations of stuff. So it is crazy how many moving parts there are. And you come up with the weirdest little thing. Like for the girl that had never been to a restaurant, we had to have somebody make all that fake food that we smashed. We had to get breakaway dishes. We had to rent out a restaurant. We had to hire fake kitchen staff for that one moment she runs into the kitchen and drinks water from the faucet.
Yeah.
These things don't happen organically, and it's not lost on me how many people, and especially the crew, we did the whole sketch about being humble, put in that work. They are there hours before you get there in the morning. And they are there hours after you're gone, all to enable this insanity. And so the least you can do as talent is be in a good mood and make people happy that they have that job. But the amount of orchestration, it's mind-blowing, even for a show that doesn't have a huge budget.
Well, back to Beelzebubly. I got a shirt. You guys got a couple shirts as part of the Rav gift, and
We
I was
did.
friends with the guys who worked there, and they gave me one.
Well, you
And I
weren't
wore it
supposed to get
home.
one. You weren't supposed
I
to get
got one. I wore it home. My mom really wanted it, so I gave her my Elder Millennial shirt in trade, and she
Wow.
says she's been wearing it to bed every night this week, and it's her favorite
Aw.
shirt.
A lot of hellfire in my
Yeah.
merch. Oh, I love
It
that.
really is.
Yeah.
Because I said, I was like, I want to keep this shirt, but I have a similar vibed shirt for you.
That's very funny. Yeah, I guess those are the Forever Tour shirts, which we were just getting going with, are totally similar vibe in that it's like spooky but different color palette.
Very different palette.
I think they're the best ones. Yeah, actually, no. Elder Millennial was pretty lit.
These are pretty nice,
though.
though.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Jetsetter_Molly, Iris Toth, and that one Wookiee all asked, were there any sketches that you loved that did not make the final cut?
I will say that Make It Nice, I really enjoyed doing because I was channeling a lot of the like teachers from the Dallas area in the 90s, just that sort of quiet, like there's like a certain vibe. I don't understand. Everybody loves that sketch. And I love that they love it. But from the second we were editing it, my manager was like, I love the potato sketch. Everyone in my office loves it. And I'm like, sure. In my mind, there were so many others that had higher production value and were written better. And people love it. And it's so funny to me because you never know what's going to be a hit. That being said, I knew Ripped Fat Dudes would be a hit. And that was one of my favorite ones. I loved being Ellen Plebles and doing the Ripped Fat Dude sketch. That one was a labor of love. But like Hervit Schnur, the one where it's me and there's a Norwegian actress. I actually have her name on here. Her name is Anne Winsland. We're speaking Norwegian. Like I am saying Norwegian lines, and I think it looks like a Norwegian show. It has that like Nordic look. Nobody's ever mentioned it, but I am speaking Norwegian to her.
Somebody commented, and I swear it wasn't on Ask Iliza. It was either on your feed or on one of your Don't Panic Pantries, and they said something about how your Icelandic was good and asked whether
It's not
you can still
Icelandic.
say anything in Icelandic.
It's
or whatever
Norwegian.
It is. Sorry, Norwegian. Can you still say anything in Norwegian?
Yeah, I can. Pippenmin means my boob, and oh fuck, I had it. Hold on, Pippenmin and hold on, I have to remember it now. There's three of them. Du spisas lakrisenmin. Something about lakrisenmin is like my licorice. Kenoske vinternakal. Something about the winters being. I can't remember it now.
Okay.
Oh, Google Translate.
That was very funny.
Yeah.
Laura.t.marcaro asks, who chose the theme song by Small Pools, and how does the process of choosing a theme song work?
It works like this. I was a fan of Small Pools. Hunter one day in the car played them, and I was like, I like this. And then I became obsessed. I listened to them all the time for like a year. And then one day, Hunter and I think we were in like the Philadelphia airport. I don't know. It was like 6 a.m. We were walking through the airport exhausted, and I see this guy. And I go, oh my God, Small Pools. And I recognize him. There's three members of Small Pools, and this guy's name is Mike.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone's name, but I just knew his face. I go, you're in Small Pools. And I love Small Pools. And he looks at me, he goes, you're Iliza Shlesinger. And like the odds, like I'm famous, but I'm not that famous. And the odds of them knowing who I am. And, you know, I meet fans after shows and people always want hugs. And I've met a lot of celebrities and I've never felt the need for a hug. Because their music has touched me so much, I was like, can I have a hug? And he was like, yeah. And we started following each other on social media. And so when it came time for a theme song, you know, your theme song sets the tone. And I wanted a fun, like, get ready. This is going to be a wild ride, you know. I wanted that vibe for the theme song. And so I just reached out and I was like, would you guys want to write a song? I had no notes. I was like, just make something cool because I like all their music. And they sent me that. And in a million years, I never thought the song would sound like that, but I was into it. And so it was a chance to work with a band I like, and we got a great song.
It's called Play Pretend, and you can get it now wherever you get music.
Slip into your house shoes.
It's a great song.
Pretend,
really good.
Pretend, It's great.
Rachel Kathleen asks, what do you personally believe is the right thing to say when someone knocks on the bathroom door when you're in there?
Let me think. You have to knock and then I'll see what comes out. Do it. Give a knock.
Okay.
Occupado. Akubaro.
It is something. You know what? That was a sketch I hadn't seen because I'd been in some of the edits and I'd seen some of the finished episodes. That was one I had never seen, and I watched it for the first time when just watching the full show on Netflix. And it's so good because you don't know where it happens, and then something just comes out of you and you don't know where it came from, and it's never the same thing. It's always like a different, sometimes it's just like a sound.
Because you don't want to say because you're not trying to have a conversation. Like, what do you want? Because you know what they want.
Right.
So I think just sorry. I think sorry is good. I think that's disarming.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
So somebody's in here.
How about they not send help? Help me.
Amparo _M_ Randall.
Wait, can I just say, by the way, I have like a big strawberry blonde, like reddish wig in that, and I don't hate the way I look in that wig. Just putting that out there.
That was the screenshot for you on Netflix, because Netflix picks its screenshots based on the person viewing.
No, they pick it based on whatever will be worse for you.
If you look at, there'll be movies that are just all dudes and like one actress over 40, and that will be shown to me on my Netflix because Netflix knows what I like.
Yeah.
It'll be like, what's it?
No, I know.
Time in Hollywood.
They take multiple ones because it's always changing up because they want to fool you if you didn't watch it, and then you're like, oh wow, there's gumballs in this show. I love gumballs.
And I feel like I've gotten Carol Burgess a couple of times. They're like, this is what you like.
Oh, that's so funny. Surprised you don't get AA for self-esteem because like the women are all sweaty and they're all together. Yeah, and they're in a basement. Yeah. Basement. All right.
Amparo _M_ Randall. My question is for your gorgeous mom. How does she keep her arms so toned?
My mom
I just thought we should have this in here for posterity.
Yeah, Mom, just so you know, my mom looked great in that sketch, and it was fun seeing how much we looked alike at the end of like the makeover. She plays a lot of tennis.
People really noticed.
Yeah, my mom plays a lot of tennis, and she's a naturally thin woman. She's just got great genetics. So
yeah,
fingers crossed for me, but she plays a lot of tennis. And that's the answer. I like doing that sketch. I liked wearing that outfit. I'm surprised it didn't make a bigger splash than it did. We did find that jumper, and we had the sides cut out to like really let my skin stick out. Even my father said, as your father, it was really uncomfortable for me to look at you in that outfit.
I felt uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable, but it was so funny. And I now know that dark hair with red undertones is not my color.
No, but that's
I'm Laura.
Blue-Eyed Breeze says, did you keep anything from the show as a souvenir? Please tell me you still have the Power Soup blanket.
I don't have Power Soup blanket, but you know what I did keep because it was really expensive, and I probably should. They gave it to me, and it was like a secret. The wig from It's Nell, from the girl who's never been to a restaurant. The long brown wig. I actually really liked the color of it, and I liked how long it was. My hair will never be that long, and it was like in my bag one day. And like Rob, our hair guy, just kind of like slipped it to me. So I have that wig sitting on a styrofoam head, and it freaked out my husband when he walked in the closet the first time because it's just a head.
I remember that came in the mail. It was organized through me.
Yes.
I was told to set it up somewhere scary. And I was like, I don't really want to give her a heart attack and put it like in her bed.
Oh, it's like the end of Seven. Like you just open up a box and there's a head in there.
Yeah, so I just set it on its little fake head, the hair on its little mannequin head.
Yeah, it is scary to see on a counter. I kept the wig. I'm trying to think if I kept any. All the nails were fake.
You didn't keep Power Soup blanket. I mean, if you notice, every time you FaceTime me while we work remotely, I have a slanket on because I'm cold.
No, I can't see your whole body, so I assume it's just a blanket. I'm trying to think if we kept. No,
because your patch.
My patch?
That we're going to put a picture up of.
Oh, I kept the patch.
The hat patch, yeah.
I think all the clothes needed to go back to some sort of wardrobe thing or someone owned them. And, you don't want to wear your costumes. And then all the jewelry is like Claire's, like 18 earrings to a card. So if I accidentally absconded with something in my ears. That's it though. I tried not, I have so much stuff in life. So I try to not take anything. I was sick for a little bit of the show, so I definitely kept a bunch of tea. It was given to me.
It's given to you.
Yeah. I did a lot of reading while I was on set, so I bought a lot of books that I brought home from Brooklyn. Some terrible, some okay. Don't ask me for recommendations. I don't want to tell you which ones are bad. And the memories, of course. I keep the memories. And the show is my souvenir.
Regal Beagle 78. Love the show. Hope you make more episodes. Why do they reference tragus so much?
Whoa. You know, I think the hallmark of any good inside joke sketch show is having the thing that is your thing, you know, on like Tim and Eric, they have Cinco. Like it's like a fake company that parents everything. And
Quentin Tarantino does that too. He has the red apple cigarettes.
Yeah, and I think that it's part of creating a world and also taking some, like the idea of taking corporations seriously is a very funny thing. And sketches are always making fun of those. I got part of my ear pierced a couple years ago on my birthday, and the part of my ear that got pierced was, I think, the tragus.
Didn't we decide it was something else? I feel like we've discussed this on the podcast 2 or 3 times and we never remember.
Hold on. I got it right here. Pulling
but
up
you
an
like
ear
the
poster.
word.
I just think, here, what do we have?
You used to say it on the podcast all the time before
Here's what
the
it
sketch
is.
show.
The parts of your ear, I mean, it is such a small part and it's all basically your ear. The names for the different parts of your ear are so severe and they all sound like they've come from like an alien car manual, like tragus, daith, anti-tragus, conch, orbital, snug, interconch, industrial, helix, forward helix. The names are just so intense for these teeny tiny folds. You're right. I don't have my tragus pierced. I have my forward helix pierced. Almost daith.
For a little bit, we thought it was daith. Yeah.
Thought it was daith. It's, you know, one could argue the upper daith or lower forward helix. Anyway, but I just thought tragus, and I'm always saying to myself, like, in severe robotic techno talk, like body control, you are a dog. Like, just thinking of listening to, like, this is how far back this goes in my head. Like a 90s, like, German techno song, like, move through the night. Tonight is the night. And tragus. And I just said it in the writer's room and everything just became tragus brand. But it's really just the part of your ear that I think it takes itself too seriously. Daith, forward daith, execution, body control, forward helix. And that's it. And it's just a thing that's forever in my head. So that's tragus. Fun fact. This was a sketch that I thought was going to break the internet, and literally no one's talking about it. Nude tone bike shorts. I do think the shorts were too shiny in the sketch. I was out of town when we shot that one. Plus, I'm not in it. Nude tone bike shorts is one that I tried to do on Truth and Iliza, and the people at Freeform, while touting, you know, oh my God, women and feminism, say whatever you want, they thought it was inappropriate. So just so you know, the feminist powers out there that are like seemingly guiding you are actually trying to control you. And that is one of my biggest problems with feminism and messages for women on TV is limiting what women can say. Nude tone bike shorts was one that I had written years ago. And I was like, if I ever get my own show, we're doing it. And we did nude tone bike shorts. I just wanted it to be this gross ad for nude tone bike shorts.
Yeah. Ladies. Ken's Q21 says, I remember your Instagram story call for casting a particular sketch while you were living and filming in Brooklyn. What sketch was that? My hunch was ripped fat dudes.
Oh, I think it was ripped fat dudes. I don't remember it, but it feels like, you know, it's hard to put out a call and be like, is your body okay? Being a ripped fat dude sketch. And it's also hard to approach someone and be like, hey, saw your body. The whole joke about ripped fat dudes is that it's actually a term that Noah came up with. We were home one day. Somebody was on the TV. I couldn't tell you who, but it was like a dude, like a Guido, kind of puffy, like in shape, but maybe a little overweight. And I said, like, that's my type. Like, I love like a big dude, even if he's not in shape. And Noah, who is not that, he's lithe. He's got a 70s body. Noah said to me, you love it. He goes, you love a ripped fat dude. And I was like, I do. I love like a 45-year-old, used to lift weights, now not so much, no cardio.
Owns a boxing gym.
Something like that. Yeah, like garbage time. I'm into it. And he said the term ripped fat dude. And I was like, I'm taking that to the writer's room tomorrow. And I think David wrote the ripped fat dude ones. But yeah. Ripped fat dude.
The real Molly Price says, the Top Knot sketch cracked me up laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. Was this based on people you know?
Top knot was because I can't wear a top knot. My hair, like, you need to have you need to have such thick hair for that knot to look stupid. I also think it's kind of like a bitchy hairdo. Like, I've got a top knot. Are you pledging Alpha Tau Lambda or not? And it's like this little bobbly thing. Like we make fun of dudes for wearing these knots all the time. I just feel like you see it on like a lot of reality shows. Like that girl from Love is Blind wears top knots. Like it's just kind of an annoying girl hairdo. But it's also funny to make fun of because I can't really wear it. I just think it's funny. Like it looks like weirdly medieval. It's never going to look sophisticated. If you wear one, great. I don't care. But I don't see the need for it. Like, are you hot? Put your hair up. You want your hair down?
Yeah.
Half back. Why is it in a knot? And I look bad with it. So I just wanted to, in true comedic form, exacerbate how bad I looked. Because it's true. In the top knot intervention, it does look like you had head surgery.
Yeah.
Side note, the actor, this is really sad. His name was Olan Montgomery, who played the dad in Top Knot Intervention, passed away from Corona. And I found out last week. And it's just really sad. He was a really nice man. I only met him that one time. He was delightful to work with. I thought he did a great job. And that was just really sad. Little moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that whole family was very funny.
They were great. Had one of your favorite actresses, Emily Tarver.
Yes, she is. I mean, you got some really great like comedic actors on this show.
And Emily Lynn, who is Kate McKinnon's sister, but independent of that, you know, we booked her because she was funny. She had a great tape. She's part of the core cast. She was also my sister in that, and she did a great job as well. Very funny. Everybody was funny.
She does that Audible show.
Yes.
Yes. K.TT. What was your favorite skit to write and what was your favorite skit to act in? Is it the same? And if not, why?
I loved doing Ellen Plebles for Rip Fat Dude. It was just like acting in it was so my wheelhouse. I loved writing the Cashew Albacore ones. I did like writing AA for Self-Esteem. It pretty much flowed out of me. It's very easy to be like, oh, what are the things that should be seen as positives but society dings you for? And I liked writing Beelzebubly because everybody's been against it from day one.
Okay. The Jana Hop asks, what really goes on in your brain, especially when you're coming up with sketches or jokes in general? Try to paint a picture. Is there a typical way that these have come to you, or are they?
It's funny, the way that I see sketches, I saw stand-up as sketches for a very long time. And the more you do stand-up, it kind of changes. I see things as scenes. And it starts off, it's hard to describe what you see, and that's why, you have to be a good writer or painter or sculptress. But I see, like, it can start out with a feeling or a sound. Like the Make It Nice one, I just liked the idea of heavy breathing and just stillness. And it's like, how do you personify those things? How do you personify weirdness? So a sketch can come from a thought, a character, an idea, a word, a notion, a smell, a sound, and just going to that. And then it just you just see it vividly as a scene. And I always see my stand-up as a scene. I can see Party Goblin when I'm talking about her, and I can see I can just see the scene. I can see that nightclub I'm talking about. I can see the fight. I can see the orange cones for the what's my middle name thing. You see these things so vividly. And I think that's why my stand-up is so textured, because I'm just trying to convey as many things as possible through a medium that really is just about sound and words. So yeah, that's why I love sketch, because you can utilize extras and you can utilize a chorus and an ensemble and costumes, and it's visual versus just stand-up, which is just spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the answer. I know you wanted to hear, like, it's a pumpkin patch with rabbits and fangs. Nope.
No. Shani Camille.
Oh, wait, I will say this. My mind exists. In my mind, it is the 90s. It's the suburbs. Everything's a little uncomfortable and everyone's kind of an idiot. That's the background.
Okay. Shani Camille says, would you ever try to do an ASMR video? Your Make It Nice sketch kind of gave me the tingles, similar to when I watch an ASMR video. Thanks and love you.
I mean, some people say that this podcast is an ASMR podcast because I'm always eating something. No one says that.
Some people are very mad about you eating.
Oh, my misophonia. Oh, that I didn't have until like a day ago. Look, if it's a real thing, it's a real thing. Don't at me. But
it is a real thing.
All right, take it easy.
But you can just not listen.
You can just not listen. As I clean my tooth. What I would love in a season 2, I was actually thinking about the Make It Nice lady and the ways that I would exacerbate all of that tension with breathing. I think there's a lot more breathing and a lot more Mouth adjusting.
Mhm.
Oh. So I wouldn't do an ASMR video because that's very bandwagony. And that's just not my world. But I would increase the weirdness of Make It Nice Lady in season 2.
Yeah.
And
You
now,
know who else says make it nice?
who?
Dorinda Medley.
I did not know that. And I barely know
I know
who that
you
is.
didn't.
I barely know who that
I know
is.
you had no idea.
And now it's time for Top of the Cob. Kick it.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
My bottom of the cob is people who choose to be ignorant to other people's plights in society. And my bottom of the cob is people who think, oh, someone else will do it. Now, in some cases, someone else has to do it. Like, I can't save all these COVID-19 people. I'm not a doctor. You know, I can raise money and I can do my part. You don't have to do everything, but you can do something. I have a neighbor who I think comes from a lot of money and is not used to participating in societal normal things.
Right.
And they don't break down their boxes. When you recycle cardboard boxes, you have to break them down so that they're flat. Emily knows this because she does it for me. And put it in the recycling. They just throw whole boxes, which is dumb because your box is filled with air, so you're just taking up space. Whole box in their recycling. They'll use our recycling bin, and then they just leave things on the floor. On the floor, meaning the ground, in public, on a street that we've all agreed to live in and maintain. So there's just boxes. And I saw that they did this the first time, so I very nicely, I was like, hey guys, just letting you know, if you break your boxes down, you can fit them all in, but you can't use our bin. We need that for our recycling. And he was like, hold on 1 second, I didn't do it. And he calls his maid outside and didn't yell at her, but was like, yeah, you need to do this. And she was like, oh, and she didn't speak a ton of English. And it's like, look, is that her job? For sure. But like, you need to show her. Like, you clearly didn't know. You both didn't know. And also, like, you're stronger than her. Maybe break down some of those boxes. Also, maybe you shouldn't have a maid during Corona.
Yeah, and maybe don't have that conversation in front of you. Like, he didn't need to call her out. He could have just taken that information in and been like, okay, and then gone and been like, hey, FYI.
And he's like a nice enough guy, but like he was trying to show me like it wasn't me. It's like, but you also don't know because I see all of the Postmate things discarded all over the ground all the time. And I'm pretty sure it's not your maid. Quick, squeak in this cookie. Anyways, I'm not perfect. I definitely have people that do things for me, but you're agreeing to live, whether your neighborhood is even nice or not, like do your part of maintaining it's like when you have that one house that has like the overgrown lawn and it makes the whole neighborhood look shitty. Like do your part so that we all can do this together. And I thought about writing a letter like fake from the garbage lady, because now during all this, we're all so linked. Everyone's thanking the grocery store workers and the garbage lady, And every time I see the woman that collects our garbage, I say, hey, thanks so much for being here. I thought about making her cookies, but I don't think she'll take them. But I thought about writing a fake letter from her and putting it on his door, being like, I'm not going to take your boxes unless you break them down. Listen to your neighbor. No. I'm not going to.
Don't get her.
I got to get involved. I got to get involved.
I know you do. Just get involved by peering out. I've found the coronavirus is giving me like big hall monitor energy, and I just peer out my window wanting to tattle on people.
Big hall monitor energy that's who you are. You're big hall monitor energy.
And it's really like coming out. Like I hear people outside and I go to my window like, is that too many people? What are they doing?
Yes. You're like, the principal gave me a sash. Absolute power.
Yes.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Okay, that's my bottom of the cob.
I want to tattle.
What's your bottom of the cob?
My bottom of the cob is that my cat had to go to the vet. She had a bloody face that turned out to just be a sore. But when your baby walks up to you with a bloody face, it is alarming. But she's okay.
Can I say one thing about bloody face? Your cat's fine. You're like, turns out it was marinara. Everyone enjoy the sketty. I
don't like marinara.
I got verified. It's like, I don't know what you are. I was like, you're not even American. You're just like a Russian sleeper cell alien, like program with like the worst pop culture. Anyway.
Me and Smokey.
You and Smokey. I was oh, you want your cookie? I was verified on Spotify. No big deal. And so I put together a playlist of songs for the official Iliza Shlesinger Sketch Show. A song, and it's just like a playlist of like songs that we were listening to, songs the writers were listening to, like just a way to make a fun playlist. And I was talking to Noah and I was like, what's a song? Like, what was I listening to during the summer of last year? And he only knows pop culture music because of things that I say and ways that I bastardize the song. So this song is a lot older, but there's that Cardi B's first song where she's like, these is red bottoms, these are bloody shoes. And I said, we think bloody shoes is funny. So in our house for years, it was always like bloody shoe. And bloody shoe very quickly became bloody hoof. It's a bloody hoof. And then it went from a rap song to like a scary, like nightmarish ghost story. It's a bloody hoof. And so we're sitting there last night. I was like, what were some songs I was listening to last summer? And he just looks at me, he goes, bloody hoof? Like the tale of bloody hoof. And I thought that was funny. It's a bloody hoof. I almost fell off my chair. Okay. My top of the cob is something non-quarantine related, despite the fact that I just ate it. Tortilla soup. Chicken tortilla soup. I am a connoisseur. If it's on a menu, I'm getting it. A lot of people, guacamole, like that's their thing, which I think it's annoying. It's like, it's nature's butter is an avocado. And everyone has the way to like it. Tortilla soup, which you typically see on a Mexican menu, but, a lot of restaurants have it just in general. I always get it. I love chicken tortilla soup. I love the chips and the cheese and the beans. There's so many different ways to make it. I love popcorn and chicken tortilla soup. Always getting it. Kick it.
Okay. My top of the cob is that even though I was scared for Gracie and her bloody chin, I have a vet. I have a vet that I adore who is very kind to me, very understanding, and I was able to get in to see her within an hour of noticing what had happened. And they were just so cool. And it's hard for everyone right now with Corona. And they had to do the thing and talk to me on the phone while I sat in my car. But they were very nice.
Does anyone have a vet that has like a shitty bedside manner? Like if you're working with small animals, you're probably like a kind person.
Some care more than others. Like some are like good with animals but bad with people. And
Fair.
my vet is has been with Gracie through a few different weird health things, has had to report to
the last
medicine manufacturers.
So like the last couple weeks, because I feel like you take Gracie a lot.
I haven't taken her in a while, but she has had reactions to medication that are so strange that they've had to be reported to the manufacturers of the medication.
Let me say this.
So
we tolerate shitty bedside manner in physicians way more than we tolerate it in vets. Like I went to go see a specialist about my jaw and she was not cool. She was like, you have arthritis in your jaw. It's probably going to fall off. You'll never talk again. And like, if your vet was like that, you'd be like, get your hands off my angel. I'm yelping you into oblivion.
For sure. And you know what though? I have left good Yelp reviews for my vet, but if you go to any Yelp page for a vet, it's tough stuff.
Stuff. I just showed her tofu. All right, you guys, stay kind, stay safe, stay nice to each other. This pod, we're going to keep doing it. I almost said Tasty Times Call for Tasty Measures. That's when I realized that's the other show that I do to keep us all afloat. We love you, and we'll probably do another episode about the Iliza Shlesinger Sketch Show. Keep watching it. Let's get that season 2, baby. Tell
the people your other show.
Oh, and you can also,
Panic Pantry,
check out
PM.
every day at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Noah and I do Don't Panic Pantry, a show that we started at the onset of the Corona outbreak. We do it every day to remind you to stay calm, cook with what you have. Noah posts his recipes on his Instagram page at Galuten, Galuten. These are simple recipes. They're fun. And even if you don't like the food or aren't able to make it, you can cook along with us. We're giving you somewhere to be every day at 5. It's soothing, it's calming, it's fun. And take a picture of the food you make and we will post it on our Instagrams. So Don't Panic Pantry at 5 and please watch the Iliza Shlesinger Sketch Show. Let's get a season 2, baby.
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a Realtor can help answer. Because Realtors have the expertise, data, and access to specialty training to help you navigate the process of buying a home. They provide support, guidance, and have your back every step of the way. That's what Realtors do, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
It's time to have your high five moment with High Five Casino, the top social casino where the action and real prizes never stop. Fun spins and big wins are right at your fingertips with over 1,000 games, including High Five Casino exclusives. High Five Casino is always free to play with free coins given out every 4 hours. Sign up today for a free welcome offer that can get you spinning and winning right away. Visit highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.